Okay, Mr. Schecter, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I came with my parents here to El Paso in 1959. I went to Putman Elementary and El Paso High School, graduated in El Paso High. My parents had a small business here. I have relatives here. I went away to college, went to California, came back to El Paso in 1997. And in 2000 and on, I've been down at City Council listening to what they had to say, making comments and suggestions and so forth. I've run for City Council District 1 representative 3 times before. I intended not to run this time, but there really didn't seem to be any candidates that were well informed on the issues, and so I decided to throw my hat in one more time.
Mr. Schecter, what do you think is the most important issue facing the district?
Well, I'm not sure how important, I'm not sure how you rate importance, but the immediate thing I think is Trans Mountain Road. I'm disappointed that Miss Lilly voted and pushed Trans Mountain Road. And the first thing I will do if elected is to have a revote on Trans Mountain. I think if council changes in the districts that are up for re-election, that we can perhaps reverse that. There's really no need to spend $85 million. If it goes to somewhere else, let it go somewhere else rather than kill what makes El Paso El Paso.
On the topic of Miss Lilly, it appears she received a rather substantial amount of her campaign contributions from a group called Citizens for Prosperity, of which several prominent El Pasoans that have business interests along Trans Mountain were among the folks that fund the PAC. Your thoughts on that?
Well, what you said was true. The PAC seems to be primarily made up of people that have land interests along Trans Mountain and a vested interest in having a throughway or an $85 million destructive roadway built, because they won't have to, as builders and developers, they won't have to put in that road by themselves. It will be put in by the state free of charge. So it's an $85 million gift to the land developers that own land out on Trans Mountain.
And speaking of Trans Mountain, Mr. Schecter, during the forum you had said, made a comment about reversing Trans Mountain when asked about protecting the space in the Northwest. What exactly did you mean by that?
I will put an item on the agenda to reconsider their vote.
Oh, okay. So So it's not to close Trans Mountain entirely. You mean the
council has voted to go ahead with TxDOT project of making a limited access roadway, 4 lanes with side roads, I forget what they call them, but access roads, that's what they are and stuff, down the middle of the corridor there, and to have businesses and so forth line that with parking lots and everything else. So that decision was made. The only way to reverse that would be to have a motion to reconsider that vote and then take another vote, and hopefully we'll have 5 council members voting to oppose that. The real issue here is not whether you can get 5 council members to vote for it, but that most council members look to the council person whose district the project is in. And if that representative is against the project, they will in general support the decision of that council person, because after all, it's their district.
And final question, Mr. Schecter, if you're standing in front of a voter that's undecided in the district, what's your pitch? What do you tell them?
Well, I tell them, throw the insiders out, let the outsiders in. You really want somebody that listens to what you have, what they have to say. I would tell them that at the current rate that our representatives are spending money in El Paso, where none of us are going to be able to afford to live here because of the high taxes, that we need somebody that understands finances, that votes against $62 million certificates of obligation like Ms. Lilly voted for just yesterday, which raises your taxes. You need somebody like myself that listens to what you have to say, that's accessible, that, as I said inside, is not a chameleon. I don't tell you one thing and then change my mind, 6 months later. We also need somebody that's not a politician per se. It's my intent to only be in office one term. I won't guarantee that, but I'm getting older, and there's only so much I'm willing to give of myself. So my intent right now, if elected, would be to only stay in office for 4 years.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.